Link down below as always if you want to read this shite on your own. There's two methods in which they deliver update to players. One will be the weekly changes that'll cover smaller adjustments, and the ones that'll be downloadable updates to the game that'll include more impactful bug fixes and changes. This downloadable update will include support for the second content drop from the Season Pass, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands Glutton's Gamble, and various bug fixes and performance improvements. Added special vending machines to the loot room at the end of the Chaos Chamber. Each machine has a Legendary of the Week for sale that'll change every Thursday by 9 a.m. Pacific. Mission reward gear is now more likely to show up in standard vending machines. Throwable Hole can now drop with enchantments and can be enchanted at the re-roller. Many mission rewards can now drop as enchanted and can be enchanted at the re-roller. The Mushroom Healer, the Mushroom heals alright, has completed their mushroom trials and has been found worthy of a name. Mike, which is an okay name for a mushroom. Mushroom Mike. In addition to this support, some changes have been made that we wanted to give special mention to based on feedback from the community. Fixed various reports of crashes, including those related to occasional crash that would occur when switching between display modes, tabbing after searching for a shift friend, quitting to the desktop after character creation using a randomized character button in the character creator multiple times quickly. Slow the F down. Switching to the mail menu, or probably means main menu, from the social menu. Console only, quickly switching between control menu tabs and split screen. Xbox only, activation timeouts. Notice how it separates console from Xbox, because Xbox, I mean, let's face it, it's not really a console. Address the following report concerns. By the way, I'm just kidding. Simmer down. Storm Surge would not drop from the world loot pool. It was dedicated drop only before this change. Threat of Fate spell would not properly heal Fate Makers while doing dark magic damage. Counter Feint would occasionally allow players to not be targeted by enemies for longer than intended. Achievements were not consistently awarded for Walk the Stalk, the Trial of the Crooked Eye Phil, the Ditcher, and Completionist is next to Godliness. Achievements were not being consistently awarded for level milestones. Potential blocker could occur when saving, loading, during the Bard with a Vengeance. Mobley's Dick mission item would occasionally fall out of bounds. Mobley's Dick would... Okay, that's enough of that. Prevented a drawbridge in Brighthoof from closing after Valentine has gone through the effort of seducing it open. Prevented a progression blocker during Walk the Stalk if a Fate Maker doesn't pick up the Punch Father. Talk about your D falling out of bounds. That's definitely a progression blocker there, you know what I'm saying? Okay, that was cringy. Barrel would occasionally disappear for some Fate Makers during Break Ingredient X Barrel. Added an enemy scaler for Chaos Chamber to increase the number of enemies that appear in co-op. Chaos Trial would not automatically update level. Endless Dungeon Altars would occasionally subtract crystals from players for ammo and health. Altars in co-op that did not use them. Some instances where Fate Makers would not save as expected and would revert to a previous state. Instances of items duplicating unintentionally prevented players from unintentionally deleting characters. Oof. Issues related to reporting players in the roster menu. Fate Makers that joined the game during the table introduction still had their HUD visible. Various UI adjustments and improvements, as well as sound effects adjustments, telemetry improvements, audio changes and adjustments, performance and stability improvements. PlayStation 5 only. Added VRR to the PS5. DLC Fate Makers would occasionally appear in the incorrect entrance in Dreamvale Overlook. And sometimes Fate Makers would be able to enter a portal early and encounter a progression blocker. Sometimes you could be sent to the incorrect store page when interacting with mirrors. For content they did not own, Fate Makers that did not own the DLC content would be unable to consistently join a Fate Maker that did. A progression blocker could occur when fighting best chums, and more. Class adjustments. Address the following class-specific reported concerns. Berserkers would not stay enraged when multi-classed into Graveborn and using the Reaper of Bones action skill. Spore Warden's Mushroom Pet would not clean up after itself after using its Mushroom Spore attack for all players. Clawbringer's Storm Smite would not properly switch between fire and shock damage. The splats on Storm Smite have been corrected to also match their expected visuals and damage type. Graveborn's Faithful Thrall's Skills bonus could occasionally stack indefinitely. Graveborn's Kill Skill Harvest could be unintentionally stacked indefinitely. Stabomancer's follow-up stacks could trigger unintentionally with a chain lightning effect on the Dahlia SM Live Wire. Enchantment's Spore Warden adjusted a Spore Warden enchantment from receiving a chance for an explosion on gun and ability damage to having the chance only with gun damage. We found that the bonuses had unintended damage scaling when combined with other abilities. Berserker, Blast Chill and Blast Gasp for Graveborn could overlap and scale damage out of the anticipated range in the endgame when combined with other damage scaling. The changes below here are focused on making melee attacks a bit more powerful during the mid-game and in Chaos Chamber. I'm not actually going to read those. You can pause that if you want to read that. I just kind of want to skip through it. Same thing with Spore Warden, Clawbringer. Some of the changes to some of the skills. Again, go ahead and pause that if you want to read that. Graveborn, adjusted. Okay, again, pause that if you want to read the specific numbers. For the Stabomancer, it's the same thing. Pause it here if you want to read that. And Spell Shot, that's the last one. Weekly rotations, weekly events. This in-game limited time mini-event will be effective from May 19th to June the 2nd. June the 2nd will mark 23 years that I quit smoking. No one cares. Okay. Activated the in-game mini-event Armor Up. Increases the chance for armor to drop and the chance for me to, slap the side of your face if you give this video a thumbs down. You get a chance to have a class mod to be for your current character. Note that due to classes being distributed between light, medium, and heavy armor types, Fate Makers are still likely to find plenty of armor that fits other classes at average a rate of 1 out of 3. For best results, pair up with friends that match your class/subclass. The Chaos Chamber's featured run has been updated. All aboard the Chaos Train. But be warned, this train doesn't stop. Oh no. At least not for a while. The leaderboard has been reset. Will you top the charts this week? Featured runs are available in the Chaos Chamber after you've completed the main story and rotate weekly every Thursday, again at 9 a.m. PT, aka Pacific Time. They're the same for all players, so jump in and see how your run went compared to other Fate Makers. This run features Oculus and Mushroom Monster. We'll let you figure out who the two bosses are this week. Get ready to take on a new extended run in the Chaos Chamber. Change notes. We've adjusted the Wheel of Fate to drop more items along with moon orbs and gold. I really want this game. I don't have it yet, but once I save up some money, I think I'll get it. Removed redundant quest markers for the Slayer of Vorkanar. Removed the damage scaling increase from Hawkins' Wrath from the May 5th hotfix. This had to be removed to address a crash that we saw impacting Xbox players. There's the Xbox again, okay? We'll be investigating how to properly address this in a future patch. Frost weapon adjustments. Frost does damage over time, but we found some frost-only guns, like liquid cooling, that were mistakenly balanced as if that was not the case. We'll be adjusting those weapons upwards so that they still roughly deal the same damage. Queen's Cry specifically was mistakenly nerfed because elemental damage was included but not during balancing. It is having its damage increased to compensate for that mistake. We are intending to adjust Fragment Rain in a later hotfix after we take a look at the SMG balance for the Chaos Chamber. Adjusted the frost damage scaling for guns, minus 5.9. Couldn't have just rounded it off to 6. Liquid Cooling's damage scaling is increased by 7.8, not 8, 7.8. Queen's Cry, damage scaling increased by 22.3. That could almost make you cry a joy. That's a good increase. Glutton's Gamble is included with the Chaotic Great Edition of Tiny Tina's Wonderland and is included as part of Tiny Tina's Wonderland Season Pass. There you have it. As always, if you liked the video, go ahead, give it a thumbs up. It does greatly help support the channel with the algorithm and making me a little bit more relevant in the search results when people are looking shit up. You didn't like the video? Go ahead, give it a thumbs down. I'll twist it, bend it in half, break it off in your ass. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, naturally that would be fantastic now, wouldn't it? But if not, whatever. Thanks for stopping by anyways. Take care, and maybe I'll see some of you in the next video. Bye for now.